It was the height of the Iraqi War. During the raid of Saddam's palace, a series of ancient scrolls depicting a temple housing ancient objects was found hidden away in a secure vault underneath a secret room. A team of 6 elite Navy SEALs, call sign Echo 6, were en route to the classified mission. They were flying in on specially designed, state-of-the-art military Blackhawks to the ancient sites on the outskirts of Iraq. Their objective was to retrieve intel on a site allegedly pertaining to the Sumerian culture. It was believed to be an ancient temple, their hearts pounding with excitement and anticipation. The team was only deployed to the most sensitive and deadliest of missions. They knew they were about to embark on something dangerous, but they were determined to complete their mission. As the Black Hawks descended upon the temple, the team could feel the wind gusting around them, stirring up sand and debris. The terrain was rough and treacherous, with jagged rocks and deep crevices threatening to trip up the team at every turn. Despite the harsh conditions, the team pushed forward. The temple itself was a massive structure, surrounded by tall walls and imposing statues. The team knew that they were dealing with something ancient and powerful. As they approached the temple, the team discovered a treasure trove of ancient Sumerian artifacts. The artifacts were detailed and delicate, made of gold and enveloped in jewels. They were clearly worth a fortune. The walls were adorned with intricate carvings and inscriptions, and the air was thick with the scent of ancient dust and decay. As they moved deeper into the temple, the team suddenly found themselves face to face with 3 towering Anunnaki soldiers, their golden armor glinting in the dim light. The giants were equipped with elaborately engraved swords and pikes. The giant soldiers let out a deafening battle cry as they began descending upon the SEALs with incredible speed and agility. The team engaged the giants in a deadly battle, their bullets doing seemingly nothing to the towering figures. The giants were massive, easily twice the size of the Navy SEALs. Their armor was impenetrable, and their swords sliced through the air with deadly precision. The battle was the most harrowing and brutal that the team had ever faced. The giants were relentless. Their massive swords and pikes made thunderous sounds as they teared through the air. The team's firepower echoed throughout the ancient halls, their bullets bouncing harmlessly off their target's armor. However, the SEALs were not so easily deterred. Using their extensive training, they worked together to distract the giants and create tactical advantages, giving other team members a clear shot to identify the giants' vulnerabilities. Despite their best efforts, one team member was grabbed by the enormous soldier. He was crushed by the giant's massive hand, his bones cracking and splintering under the immense pressure. A second SEAL was impaled by a giant's sword, blood spraying everywhere as the blade pierced his body. The pink mist filled the air of the cabin as it decorated the surrounding artifacts in a dark red sheen. A third member missed the lunge of the giant's pike, but it had grabbed hold of his equipment bag. He began to slide down its shaft as the giant raised him into the air, biting his head clean off, the sound of his neck snapping echoing through the temple as his lifeless body crumpled to the ground. The remaining SEALs kept fighting. They knew that the giant's armor was impenetrable, but they soon learned their eyes were vulnerable. The team leader yelled, "Go for the eyes!" The team aimed for the giant's eyes. and with the help of their concussion grenades and smoke bombs, they managed to disorient the enemy giants. The death of the giants was just as gruesome and horrific as the battle that led to it. One of the giants was blown to pieces by several well-placed grenades, its body exploding in a shower of gore and viscera, its humongous body parts shaking the floor as they landed thunderously. Another was tactically shot in the eye while the giant removed its victim from its pike, its body writhing in agony before finally collapsing to the ground. The last giant was wounded by blasts, hundreds of bullets to its face, and concussion grenades, but it was still standing. It turned and began to press a sequence of what seemed to be buttons on a device upon its forearm. The team observed as the massive soldier disappeared in a brief flash of light, as if it teleported away from the scene. The temple went quiet. After the dust settled and the smoke began to dissipate, 3 of the team members had lost their lives, and one of the remaining 3 SEALs had part of his leg severed off by one of the giant's swords. The team was shaken and unnerved. One of the SEALs placed a tourniquet to keep his teammate alive until the medevac arrived. The other member worked frantically to call in for an extraction team. Although focused, their hearts raced with adrenaline and fear. When the extraction team finally arrived, they brought with them a special team tasked with collecting the ancient artifacts the giants had been protecting, as well as the bodies of the defeated Anunnaki soldiers. The team watched as the temple was rigged with plastic explosives as they boarded their AVAC chopper. The blast wave violently shook the convoy as they ascended into the sandy desert skies. The team was brought back stateside to the Pentagon for debriefing. They were sworn to secrecy and told to keep the true nature of their mission under wraps under the premise of national security. The official story was that the team experienced a helicopter malfunction while en route to a mission and crashed, losing 3 of their members. However, the team knew the truth, and it was a truth that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. The deceased team members received an honorable burial ceremony. The remaining members were awarded prestigious medals and the highest presidential honors. Months went by. The SEAL team leader was called in to provide details about their secret mission and the encounter with the giants. He was given top security clearance and taken to an underground facility. He had been informed that the bodies of the Anunnaki soldiers were brought in to be studied. However, the truth was far more sinister. The government was secretly working on weaponizing clones of the captured giants. Using their DNA and advanced genetic engineering techniques, they had genetically modified them, making them even more deadly and powerful than before. They wanted to create an army of super soldiers capable of destroying entire cities and wiping out entire populations. They wanted to use their immense power to gain an advantage in war. The thought of these massive creatures being used in battle sent chills up his spine. As the year rolled by, the government's project had made progress. They had successfully cloned the giants and were training them for combat. However, something went wrong. The clones started to exhibit strange and dangerous behavior, as if receiving telepathic instruction from the beyond. They were uncontrollable, and the scientists working on the project had no idea how to stop them. One night, the clones broke out of their containment facilities, killing all the scientists in their way. They rampaged through the underground labs, leaving destruction and carnage in their wake. The remaining Echo 6 team members and a squadron of Delta Force, Green Berets, and Recon Marines were called in to stop the clones. They were equipped with state-of-the-art weapons and gear. As expected, the clones were much stronger and more powerful than ever before. The squad entered the destroyed underground labs. As they descended through the levels, they finally encountered the clones. They were now fully grown and towering over them. The squad engaged in a brutal battle. Even with no weapons or armor, the clones were as deadly as ever. They used their size and power to dismantle anyone they came across, tearing through bundles of elite soldiers. The team's upgraded weapons allowed them to subdue the clones, but at a great cost. They suffered immense casualties, including a member of the original Echo 6 team. Several dozen others had suffered serious injuries. Their lives would never be the same. The Deep State prioritized collecting research and aiding the surviving clones, once again covering up the incident. Despite the magnitude of death and destruction, they blamed it on a simple chemical fire that had broken out in the lab. Trembling in rage, the two remaining members of the team looked at each other. They knew they had to act fast. They reached out to a network of ex-military rebels, known as the Patriots of Liberty, whom had been fighting against tyrannical aspects of the Deep State for years. Together, they devised a plan to infiltrate the secret base and using high explosives to destroy the clones once and for all. They put their plan into action and managed to sneak into the base undetected. They fought their way through the heavily guarded facility, taking out numerous Deep State Black Ops agents. Finally, they reached the cloning lab where they came face to face with the terrifying giants they had fought just weeks before. The scientists had managed to control their minds again. The battle was intense, with the team using everything they had learned during their previous encounters to take down the monsters. They fought with all their might, dodging massive attacks while trying to shoot the giants in their weak spots. The giants fought back just as fiercely, using their incredible strength to crush and maim the team members. In the end, the team emerged victorious. They destroyed the cloning lab and all the equipment inside, ensuring that the government could never create an army of giants again. They also managed to escape before the base was destroyed by a massive explosion caused by the destruction of the cloning lab. The team members were hailed as heroes, who celebrated their victory over the Deep State. However, the battle had taken its toll. They were scarred, both physically and emotionally, by the horrors they had witnessed and the losses they had suffered. They decided to go their separate ways, each seeking their own path to recovery. But they were brothers in arms and would always carry with them the memories of that fateful mission and the horrors they had faced together at the underground temple in Iraq and back home. The Deep State continued to perform secret experiments, trying to create new weapons of war, no matter the cost. But the Patriots of Liberty are never too far away. The team members knew that they had done everything in their power to stop them, and that they had saved the world from a fate worse than death. They continue to live their lives awaiting the next dreaded call to arms.